YouTube? LoftonTcg here. Today I've got a special video for you guys featuring, in my opinion, some of the craziest kids in the game right now. All these kids are super young. All these kids have played in Dragon Duels, and all these kids have done something in Dragon Duels, and they're progressing into the big kid leagues now. So I want everybody, we're going to kind of just go from start to finish here with everybody in here to introduce themselves and what they've done. So first up, Ryan Yu. I think everybody should know about this kid, especially with Sky Strikers. But Ryan, what have you done with Dragon Duels, and what have you done in the big kid game since you stopped playing Dragon Duels?
Hey guys, my name is Ryan. Thanks to Chris for having me on. In Dragon Duel, I played Chainburn at Worlds in 2017 and took that. And then after that, since aging out, I just recently got second at the main event North American Championship with Sky Striker. And then after that, topped Niagara with Exo Sister. So I'm just having fun playing my rogue decks, and it's going pretty well.
This kid's crazy. Literally just second with Sky Striker and Exo Sister. I remember seeing that list, and I was just like, man, do we really have to deal with like 4 more months of this shit? And no, we didn't, because nobody's really picking up on it. I'm really glad, because that deck is actually really good and really annoying. It makes you have to think a lot, and I don't like that. I really don't. I just want to resolve brain infusion. Johnny boy, John.
Hello.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for mailing, Chris.
You know what? I love having interactions with you. You're such a great kid. So Dragon Duel wise, talk to me. What have you done? What have you done?
Maybe not as well as some of the other people here, but I made it to the World Championship in 2016. Lost to Charlie in top 8 because he got a little lucky, but it's all right. And then once I got to the main event, my first year out, I topped YCS Niagara 2018 with Goki. And then YCS Niagara 2019 with Skyscraper, and recently got top 16 at YCS Charlotte Prank Kid. I also qualified for the 2023 Worlds Points now, I think it is. Whatever. I qualified for, it was originally 2020, and now it's been pushed back 3 years because of COVID, but I'm in that Worlds Points thing, and it was a grind, but it was fun.
So that's kind of really impressive that you've qualified for the World Point stuff, because you live in Canada and you guys do not have near as amount of regionals as we do down here. So what's the background of that? How do you get into these events?
My dad drives me. It was awesome.
Dad drives him.
Yeah,
awesome.
I definitely am very grateful to have somebody who's willing to, spend their weekends helping me out and, traveling with me. So I owe it all to my dad.
Yeah, some of us don't have fathers, Charlie, me. So it must be nice. So the Goki YCS, the one you topped, I believe, man, that's crazy. It feels like yesterday. We played, didn't we?
We did. We played in top 32.
And I want you to explain what you had to do to beat me. Like, because I have flashbacks of that game.
Yeah, I know the exact hand. I had Octostretch, Twist Cobra, Goki Rematch, Call by the Grave.
I haven't heard the card that won it for you yet. Let's hear it.
What was it? It was Red Reboot.
Yeah, that card's gone for a reason.
And so I started off by activating 1-for-1 pitching Twist Cobra, which got ashed. I then normal summoned Octostretch, made Link Rebo, and the Octostretch got Skullmeister. I then rematch for an Soul Day, which got impermed. I chained Reboot, and then I ended up comboing, and Chris had 2 Fakers in hand. So if I didn't have that Reboot, I was kind of cooked, but I had literally the perfect combination of cards to win that game. So
that was game 3 too. That just didn't feel good. I was just like, dude, I've got everything. I did the math. I was like, there's nothing he could Reboot. Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, and then I think, John, you lost in top 16?
I drew triple Mally against Paleozoic.
Okay, so all I needed to hear is you lost in top 16. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal, but it was. I had a great experience that tournament. Had some tough matchups. I think it was very interesting that people chose to play Striker and Altergeist when Goki was legal. But
here's your deck. Play other decks.
I personally just didn't know how to think, and I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, on to the next kid, Eddie. Eddie, are you here, Eddie?
I'm here, Eddie.
Okay, Eddie is here. Eddie here, Eddie. So, Eddie, you live in the States, right?
Yeah, I live in New Jersey.
You live in New Jersey, and I think man, what did you do in Dragon Duels?
All right, so in Dragon Duel, 2015, I got top 32. I got kind of finessed by the judges who didn't understand how time worked. And then 2016, I lost to John to go to Worlds pretty much. That was quite unfortunate. And then, yeah, in the big leagues, I lost the last round for 3 consecutive nationals in a row, then top 2019. I also went to Worlds points that year, 2019. I topped like 9 regionals that year.
Yeah, you're kind of popping off. Didn't you just top one this past weekend, a regional?
Yeah, I topped one last weekend, and then 2 weekends before that, I won another one.
What were you been playing, man? What's going on with these kids?
I played Tears Shizu. It's the only good deck.
It's the only good deck. Well, that's crazy because Brandon Fusion not a tier card, but whatever. I'm not gonna let you disrespect me like that. But I think out of everybody, I think I've had the least interaction with you. I don't know too much about you, so you're all kids here. How are you getting to these events? Do you have like a friend group? Do you have locals, or are you like a John here? You got your dad taking you everywhere.
So for like 2019 and like back then pre-COVID, it was pretty much my mom and my dad would take me all the main events. I didn't really go to many YCSs back then. Not because I don't really value them, and also couldn't really get to them. But lately, I've been traveling by myself since I'm 19 now, so I've been driving all the regionals, and I also some of the other regionals, like the Hartford one. I went with like Pac, Enzo, and another one of our local friends because they all live by us. So that's been nice.
Okay, cool. So, just one question I could have for you specifically because I don't know too much about you. What is your favorite deck right now? Like I'm not sorry, not in the format, but like since entering the big leagues, what's been your favorite deck that you've played?
Oh, definitely Sky Striker. That was my favorite deck.
Dude, what is up with you kids? I swear.
That's the one.
Yeah,
That's the one.
no joke,
Yeah.
man. That
I
was,
do want to put it on the record. I did beat Ryan in a Sky Striker mirror at a regional. I don't want to go into specifics.
You're just
but,
lying. That hasn't happened.
That did happen. That did happen.
This is going on
And you
YouTube.
didn't
Everybody's
top
gonna
Charlotte
know.
with Striker? Didn't you top
What?
Charlotte with Striker?
That's another thing. I went 8-0 at YCS Charlotte, which should mean you top the event. Unfortunately, it did not mean that because I went against a tier 0 deck in the round whatever against John and got absolutely destroyed. Yeah, not close.
All right, well, I'm glad you spoke because I wouldn't have known that you were the better Sky Striker player than Ryan until you did. So moving on to Enzo now. God, teammate Enzo, what is up, buddy?
Hello.
Whatever
My
it
name is
takes. Whatever it takes. I need some background on you, kid. How was your Dragon Duel life?
It was
non-existent.
bro. I was a very casual Dragon Duelist. You know, I mean, I made it top cut every time, but I lost in the first round every time. So
What happened 2015?
2015, I showed up late for day 2. I mean, for top cut, right? It happens to the best of us. I really didn't start taking the game seriously till COVID. So that's when I started playing like a good amount of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay, and what have you done recently since we got events back, or I mean, in general, just like since you started being a big kid? What have you done?
Well, when I first started playing, I topped like a lot of like the remote events, but at the first YCS back, YCS Charlotte, I got 3rd place at YCS Charlotte.
3rd place at YCS Charlotte. Okay, yeah, I remember that event. I did not do well. So you said you do pretty well at remote duel stuff, right?
Oh, I did.
Whatever it takes, I guess. Yeah, that's crazy. Didn't you just get 2nd at an extravaganza or something?
I got 2nd at a remote extravaganza. I got 2nd at a remote invitational. Yeah.
You are
2nd at a lot of things.
You are looking for
Second at regionals last weekend.
2nd at regionals last weekend.
Jeez. You just can't finish. That's okay. You will. I'm pretty sure all of you kids are gonna win a bit. It's you guys got plenty of time. It's just absolutely nuts. Okay, so a lot of you guys know that I am personally friends with this last person talking. So I'm gonna give him a little more time here because he's a bigger boy. So he's probably eating or something right now. I don't know. Charlie, my man, the man of the hour, my son, if you will, my son. Charlie, I need to hear. How are you doing, buddy? How are you doing? How are you
That was
doing today?
fun.
Holidays are coming up. How's the mom? How's the family? How's your brother?
They're all good. My flight got canceled though, so.
Your
not
flight got
stressed
canceled.
right
Where were
now.
you going?
We're going to Puerto Rico.
Ah, okay. Well, good. Your flight got canceled. That means you get to stay in Indiana where it is negative 15 degrees. I'm in Arizona. It's 60 right now. I'm getting in a hot tub tonight, by the way. Anyway,
It's negative currently, but
Dragon Duel. What are you known for? If somebody were to say Charlie Futch the Third, what comes with it? What did you do?
I'm. What comes with it is I won 2018 Dragon Duel Worlds the year after Ryan did, which is what most people know me for.
Okay. And do you think you only won that because Ryan couldn't play in that one?
Okay, that's a stretch.
I'm just asking. No, I'm just,
Okay,
Yes.
what happened in 2017,
I'm
Charlie?
just asking.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't.
I thought we were talking about my accomplishments.
We are. No, I'm just asking. I want to know if you think you would have won it if Ryan was still in it.
I don't know, but I also don't think Ryan would have played Goki, so I probably would have won.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you win the championship? Because I think you had a very specific interaction that allowed you to just win worlds. How did you do it?
Yeah, we actually talked about this last night on the call. My Goki opponent in the mirror match allowed me to resolve Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries against his old.
And how was that? Because once you declare the card name, your Ghost Cherry or your Winter Cherries has resolved, right? So there's your opponent can no longer respond.
Yeah, my opponent said the words target, which I actually did not know about that ruling until like 10 or 15 minutes before the match when I was
Yeah.
fighting against
Who told you
Ryan.
they were? Yeah,
Ryan
who told
did.
you?
Ryan did. I tell everybody, Ryan literally told me right before our match because I had my second cookie deck. And I said target when he cherried me. And shout out to Ryan. It made me win Worlds. So
Shout out to Ryan. This man won Worlds, and then he wasn't even playing the next year, and then still won you Worlds. That's how good this kid is. That's crazy.
okay.
That kid basically won Worlds twice.
All right.
I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
I
Nah,
can't.
that was all Charlie. He's the GOAT.
I was
for
all
sure.
Charlie. Just so humble. Just so humble. Charlie, since you started playing Big Kid Yu-Gi-Oh, what have you done? How what's going on here, and what testing partner has attributed to all of your success?
Shut up, my boy Honey.
Honey's crazy. Honey's crazy.
For most of the testing that I did before the tier Ishizu deck came out, essentially. But what I've done since COVID, I chopped the first YCS back, YCS Charlotte. I started out, I think it was 11 rounds, right? I started out 8-0. I misplayed round 9, and then I lost in top 32 to the mirror match to some guy, I don't remember his name. And then
Oh, that was the Ignister guy. I remember.
I put an Eddie. Yeah, I put an Eddie at Hartford. I started 8-0 and lost 3 straight. And then I topped nationals. I got top 16. And then I also topped YCS Pasadena. I got top 32. And I lost the last round of YCS Niagara as well.
So you're honestly pretty much on fire right now. Like you're more often than not, you're in the top cut. And so like that's huge, especially just you guys just coming from being kids, you're just still competing with people that people generally look up to, like Honey and Pac and Christian and all those guys. They're the talk of the town in the game right now. But you guys all have seemed to manage to have no problem transitioning from playing in the little leagues to the big leagues. And now, my next question here for you guys is it's probably the most important question I have for you guys because you guys were all kids and playing in Dragon Duels. And we're going to go the same order that I started with. So, God, please, guys, remember. How different is Dragon Duels compared to playing the big kid leagues? Because when I think of Dragon Duels, I've seen some Dragon Duels, and you see some kids like normal summoning vanilla monsters, and here I am seeing you guys going, all right, Goki combo here, and you have just little kids going, I have no idea what this means. So how different is it transitioning from Little Kid League to Big Kid League? I want to hear from Ryan first.
Right. I would say it's kind of weird because all of us, like, we've known each other for a long time. We were all in the same, like, years for Dragon Rule. So it was, I would say it was pretty tough competition when it comes to, like, getting the world spots at the LCQ. But for the most part, and I think it's kind of the same for the main event, you're going to get a lot of free wins when you play against people that, like, just for whatever reason, they may not be at the same level. And that happens both with Dragon Duel and main event. The thing is just that in main event, there's like a higher proportion of the people that you're playing against know what they're doing. So it's a little bit harder, but it's not like Dragon Duel is like all vanilla monsters. There's usually kids with like at least tier 2 decks. They just don't really know how to use them. So you can get away with a lot in Dragon Duel, but you also get to do the same in the main event because, I mean, people aren't always playing well, even if they're adults.
Yeah, and I think a really crazy piggyback off that is I've seen some Dragon Duel lists and like they'll have a tier 2 or tier 1 deck and the list looks fine, but there's always just like something that the kid wanted to play more than anything, like, and they're just like their friends couldn't talk them out of it, and it's just like, why is this card in here? And I've asked a couple of kids this before and they're just like, I don't know, I just like the card. I just like the card. And I'm like, all right, hey, you guys are kids, whatever. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. John, how do you feel the switch has been?
I mean, I still do the same thing. I put cards in my deck list, even if they're not good, because I like the card. Like, I, for example, I don't know, the transition wasn't bad. Like, I played main event regionals when I was in Dragon Duels. My first main event regional, top 4, I got second place when I was, I think, 11 years old, because they didn't have Dragon Duels to play main event. And I had Neo the Magic Swordsman in my Paleo deck during Zoo format. And so, yeah, like that kind of stuff, right? Where, like, the transition wasn't bad because of the people that I played with. You know, I felt like the people that I met in the game early on were really good players, and it was really welcoming community. I think they were able to develop my skills for me and like get me to a place where the transition wasn't bad. It was kind of like, you know, a seamless transition because of what I've learned from other people.
So you're saying, we've summarized that as like, it's more of who you know, not what you know. Because you start getting a bunch of people that know what they're doing, or you just a good friend group that allows you to have like a group chat and you're really throwing ideas back and forth at each other and you guys are all learning off of each other. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, I absolutely. I think like there's obviously a lot of it is what you know, but playing with other really good players allows you to learn like the different nuances that you need to know to play at a high level.
Because hearing that an 11-year-old got second at a regional with Silent Swordsman in his Paleo deck, and I know some grown adults that get excited for getting top 48 of a regional, that's, you know, there's a different mindset for that. You know, like, some people are okay with, like, they say, hey, I got my invite, I topped this regional, and then you have people that are like, that's not a top, you just got your invite, and then you get people saying, well, don't be toxic, you know, it's an achievement for them. And it's hard to think like that, like, oh, I see that as an achievement for somebody, when there are 11-year-olds playing cards that don't belong in certain decks doing well. Like, it's a very interesting disconnect, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If I'm putting my time into a hobby like Yu-Gi-Oh!, I want to be good at it, or I don't want to be mediocre at it. And there are some people as adults that have not broken through that threshold yet. They sit here and say, oh, I did good enough, or I did well enough. But then you have you guys, the kids, that are like, I had such good success at an early age, doing good enough is no longer good enough. Like, you want to win. You guys all have that competitive mindset, I believe. And I think starting at an early age and getting this close group of friends at an early age and seeing you guys all early on traveling, I think it has instilled the competitive nature in each and every one of you. So maybe the transition as far as competitiveness goes is super easy. Now, Eddie, correct me if I'm wrong here. How do you feel the transition has been?
So I want to kind of go back to kind of what John and Ryan said about how it's similar that players don't know what they're doing in Dragon Duel, as well as there's players in the main event that don't know what they're doing. But the percentage of people in Dragon Duel who are just playing like outright god awful decks or just have no clue what like a good deck does with the good deck is like significantly higher. Even in like no offense to some people, but I'm thinking some of the people in this call's decks who have won the main event Dragon Duels have just been god awful compared to like the main event counterpart, right? Respectfully, of course, right?
Respectfully.
So I find it hard to believe that like a chain burn deck would have won the main event Dragon Duel, and then just about everyone of Charlie's decks probably wouldn't have done well. But regardless, the transition from Dragon Duel to main event, it was like pretty seamless. I didn't have like a group of like tryhards that a lot of these kids have now to like transfer with and like test with. So that was kind of a different experience for me. But yeah, no, it was pretty seamless. You just learn things every event and you go on.
Okay, sweet. Enzo, what do we got here, buddy? How do you feel?
I feel like that transition was pretty easy. I'm not gonna cap. Like maybe before, but like it was harder for me. But I was just playing at a casual level. But when I started like actually playing, like I just played like tons of Dueling Book, nothing else, because there was no in real life events. So like my first event that I like finally like transitioned into like a main event, like my first YCS, it wasn't that hard. It was I would say it was quite easy. Same thing with like people not knowing what their stuff do. So I feel like you could still get like easy wins like in Dragon Duels and main events.
And going off of that, a big difference that, I mean, I'm sure a bunch of people know, but let's like reiterate this, is the amount of players that play in a Dragon Duels. Like, it's nowhere near 1,600, 1,200 people at a main event at a YCS. So when you guys are at Dragon Duels, how many people generally were in the event?
Like 60 max.
Like a regional would have like 4 people, YCS would have like maybe 8, and then a national would have like anywhere from like 30 to 60.
So you guys would be playing
30.
4 or 5 rounds, three to 5 rounds essentially.
It was a bit more than that. Regionals, regionals were like 12, 13. YCSs were like 20, 22, and nationals were like 80.
Yeah, I mean, from nationals, I could see that Dragon Duels has been dying a bit. Like the Dragon Duels at nationals might have had like 8
It was 11.
Okay, it was crazy.
11
It was like
people.
there was
There was,
11 people this year, and the first place guy gave like the Nintendo Switch to a girl in top 8 for her phone number.
Oh,
That goes to one of my lists.
Unspoken Riz, bro.
hey, whatever it takes. He's Rizmatician. Send a level 3 or lower to the graveyard.
Honestly, like mad respect. That guy's a legend.
All right, Charlie, buddy.
Yeah.
I think I know you the most out of this, out of everybody. Well, I mean, like, out of the 5 of you that are in here, I think I know you more than the other 4. So, like, I got to personally watch you transition, and the big thing for us, since we grew up in the same state, going to the same local, was, Charlie, you just won Dragon Duel Worlds. What's next? And I think a big thing for you was, because we talked about this, you didn't just want that to be it. You didn't want to be that. I can't make this joke. Everybody, you guys are all kids here. You just didn't want to be a one and done type of kid. And I mean, stress off your back now, because you're not. Being top 16 of the next quote unquote nationals that we had. You've been in, I think, 3 or 4 YCS top cuts, and it's just like you're not done. And honestly, you're just beginning. But for you, mentally and personally, how did you feel the transition was, and like what helped you transition to playing in the Big Kid League?
To be honest, the transition, they all said it wasn't like that bad. But I think it was mental biggest for me. Because after I won Worlds, I would just go to events, and if I wasn't top, I just feel discouraged. Like I always felt like I was better, or that I just had the potential to be better. So me just playing before, it was like, oh, he's just a Dragon Duel kid, or oh, that's all he can do. Like I already maxed my potential. but I just felt that like I just had to play with better players. Because when I was younger, well, I would get better at playing with better players. But then, as you know, in Indy, I reached a certain point that I was just better than everybody else I was playing against.
Well,
So
wait,
it
hold on,
wasn't
wait, pause,
improving me
pause,
enough.
no, pause. You were better than who? Go on, wait, one step back.
I mean, we weren't, me, you, like
Oh.
before COVID, we didn't test as much.
Okay, I just
So I
want
would just play against like the other people at our locals, you know. So it wasn't like improving me as much. So I felt like after COVID mainly, the people I started playing more like Hani, G, like all the people that I was on teams with, like it made me to a level that I think just it just expedited me basically. And I feel like now, like after you do it once, like after you get over the hump of just making Top Cut, it just makes it easier to do every time. Like it's not like a stress level. You don't like think about it as much. Because like after I top Charlotte, every event I go to, I just think I'm gonna top. It's not like I hope I top or it's just like that's the standard. I just want to win at this point. But I think the transition overall, it kept getting easier the older I got and the more experience I got overall.
Right. So you won Dragon Duel Worlds, and it's just from what I'm understanding is that I knew you were always a little bit competitive, but like it sounds like it just fueled more competition for you. You're like you got something to prove, and you want to prove that you can roll with the big kids. And quite honestly, I mean, top 16 and then countless YCS tops this season already is pretty impressive because you're still in high school, so you don't even get to go to every event. So because your mom generally has to travel or does travel with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, bro, hey, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Man, acting like his mom was a burden for a second. Don't make me get her on the phone.
No,
Don't make me get her on the phone. Whew. All right, but that's good to know. John, what's up?
I was gonna say, one thing about Charlie is that I heard he can predict the future. Yeah.
So
Oh?
Here, let's put this into practice. Charlie, who's winning Vegas?
Is definitely me and my other two teammates in the call.
I'm pretty sure I said you three were winning Vegas. I can predict the future. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know about you guys. I think you guys have a crazy 3v3 team, which actually brings me to literally my next question. Who is in this call right now? Who's on the 3v3 team for Vegas?
Me, Charlie, Ryan.
Yeah, me.
Charlie and Ryan. Okay, so we have two world champions, a finalist, a top 16 national duelist, and John Wilkin.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
My other two teammates.
Wait, nah, we have the same amount.
Oh, you have 3 now? Okay.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
regional wins do you have, though? That's the real question.
Eddie?
How many do you have, Eddie?
I have 4. Loud and proud.
Only?
That's
What
it.
does that mean?
I have 5.
That's crazy. He's smiling now.
Yeah, Eddie, I have
Probably
17.
So this is funny because this is a good takeaway. You guys are boasting regional wins, and in the last week's episode, no, it's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Like my point is, with LeBlanc and Hani and Urena and all them talking, we didn't even talk about regionals. It was all YCS this, win or bust, nothing. And you guys are over here like,
You see, we don't see the only person who talks about regionals in this call is Eddie Strong.
It's my life.
It's because he doesn't have the
I was
YCS.
about to say, is that all he has though?
Okay, bro. That's outrageous.
It's factual.
So what's going to be crazy here is the fact that Eddie has no YCS accolades, but he just wins. Like the first one he does, he just wins it. How are you guys going to feel then?
I have this YCS accolade. The first 7 rounds, if you're playing me, it's raps for you, okay? Let me tell you, I'm the best first 7-round YCS player in this world. I just can't do the last 4.
How many times have you done 7-0?
Twice this year in a row. The other time I went 0-3. It's all good, though. It happened.
Hey, you got job's not finished. Job's not finished.
Yeah, the job.
No,
Yeah.
it's okay. I just want to know.
I'd rather start off 0-2 and then finish.
Sorry, Eddie, it's just when I start 7-0, I usually top. I'm not
Oh, okay, bud. Yeah, okay. How many times have you done that?
bro.
0? Yeah, you got it, bro.
Twice. No, I said it twice.
You got it, bro.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next question. Ryan. So first of all, I'm going to ask just a blanket question, and everybody should answer it. When traveling to the events as kids, it's been a while for me since I traveled as somebody who was not an adult. I think my first event, I think I was like 16, and I was traveling with grown people, like they were late 20s. Looking back on it, you got to take a step aside. You're like, what was I doing hanging out with people in their 20s? And so I want to preface this. Sometimes that's just the best you get. You want to play the game. Your parents are busy, but people you see every weekend, they're like, I like you. You're a cool kid. Hey, you're a cool adult. Can you take me to Kentucky to go play a children's card game? Then your parents have to meet the people that are taking you back and forth, and it's like it's a whole nother level. It's a whole different element of the game, honestly. So my question is, when you guys traveled as kids or minors, how do you spend your weekends? Because I know as an adult for us, like we like to go get drinks, we like to go out sometimes. You guys can't do that yet. So like, what's an event look like for you guys whenever you travel? Travel with your parents or travel with younger kids. So that's a blanket question that I do want answered. But more importantly, what has been your favorite event that you've gone to? What's your favorite event that you've gone to? Ryan, you're up first.
I think without a doubt, this past Nationals, because it was the only event. It was the first event I went to post-COVID because I skipped Charlotte and Hartford. So it was great getting to see everyone after like 2-3 years. We kind of just spent all the time at the event saying hi to people, catching up. Even if you can't even if we're not like drinking or doing anything like that, it's still a ton of fun to see people and catch up. So yeah, that event was great. Also, the main event went well, so no complaints.
Oh, did it? Oh. He's like, I don't want to be biased or anything, but getting second at the first event back, I didn't really go to other events. That was kind of cool, I guess. Whatever, no big deal. And your parents were there, if I remember right? Right?
Sorry, what?
Your parents were at Nationals, right?
Yeah, my mom and my sister.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I saw your mom there. Like, how was that? How was that for you? Like, your parents obviously have to be supportive. Like, what does your mom think of you? Playing the game and being good at the game. Actually, above good. I would say you're an excellent player. How does your mom feel about that?
I think to her it wouldn't matter. Like it doesn't matter at all. She's just I can't be grateful enough for her because she's the best. So she's just happy to do it because she knows that it's something I enjoy. So
I don't want to speak exactly for Ryan here, but I think I can get the vibes from, because I've traveled with like I've known his mom since, for like literally the majority of my life, and I've, my mom as well, but I think they really just care that we're happy. That's what means most to them. Of course, it's great that they see us doing well, but the most important thing is they see us dedicated to something and working towards it and achieving our goals and, being making friends, being social, that's what's important to them.
All right, sweet.
That sounds kind of valid as well.
So then, John, what's been your favorite event to travel to, and what do you usually? I mean, because you travel with your dad a lot, so what's a evening look like? After the event, look for you. And then what's your favorite event you've been able to travel to?
So my favorite event was probably the Nationals. I didn't actually go with my dad, so I went with Ryan and his family. His mom took us, which is fantastic because basically Ryan's mom travels a lot for work, and so half the time we get upgraded or whatever if there's extra space with first class. So a bunch of the times I've had first class flights, and I don't usually travel first class with my family, so that's my favorite part of traveling with them. But the Nationals especially it was amazing to see all these people after literally 2.5 years of just sitting on my computer doing nothing, not seeing people. It was fantastic to see all my friends, and it was honestly probably the best weekend of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever experienced. It was just fantastic. Just 5 days of awesomeness.
Hell yeah. God, this is exactly why I wanted to do this, because I'm going to interject here. It's a children's card game, as they market it. Anybody who plays the game knows it's not a children's card game. However, you guys are the future of the game, and this is kind of like why they did the whole Dragon Duel thing anyway, to get kids in at a younger age. So you're not just throwing 9-year-olds against 32-year-olds playing a $10,000 deck. So it's definitely a good a way to ease children into the game, and then if it's for them, and they develop a competitive nature. And if it's not for them, they don't have to keep spending thousands of dollars a year on, and with travel too, because hotels and things like that. All that adds up. So just got off track there, but I really wanted to. That's why I wanted to get you guys together. Eddie, what about you, buddy? How do you feel about, like, what's your favorite event you've traveled to? And then again, furthermore, what have your events look like when you're just hanging out with younger guys? What do you do? What do you find yourself doing?
Okay, so my favorite event so far probably was YCS Charlotte, because it was the first event back. Enzo obviously did both. We went in together. That event was really nice. So I traveled by myself technically with Enzo and Enzo, his brother, and then Josh Little and all of them. So after the event there, like what we do pretty much now after every event is we normally will just go like out to eat, like a sit-down meal. Specifically at Charlotte. We went into this like crazy like fancy steakhouse to celebrate Enzo getting third, and our friend Josh treated us to like probably the best food I think I've ever had in my whole life. It was just some crazy steak. I mean, that was probably my favorite event. I really wish I went to the Nationals this year's Nationals, where everyone said they had a great time, because I had COVID the day before it started, so that was quite unfortunate as far as that goes. Yeah, and then pre like traveling by myself for the events, pretty much if my mom or dad went with me, it would be a straight speed run to get home after the event ended. Like they wouldn't want me to do anything. Like the second the event ended, second the regional standings were up, anything like that, they're like, all right, get in the car, we're leaving. And again, they were happy to they were happy to take me. I think they were happy to see me happy. They had a decent time talking to the other parents. But yeah, it was just a straight speed run to get out of there once it ended.
Nothing's worse than like being rushed out, because a lot of people, I think a lot of people can agree, the events are fine, but like what makes the event is the friends and like hanging out with everybody and seeing everybody. Because in the game, we just know people from across the country, even across the world, and the only time we get to see them are at these events. And like when you're playing, it's not generally enough to hang out with somebody. Like, yeah, you're around them, but like it's generally like after the event, what are we doing? And I mean, for adults, it's like, hey, are we getting messed up tonight? Hey, are we getting some good food tonight? Where are we going? And that's generally where like all the friendships are built, which now as an adult, I get that cheesy shit that they said friendship is the power of whatever. Now I get it. It makes sense now. It makes sense, because when you're getting involved with this game, it really is about who you get to spend time with on these weekends. And it's crazy getting everybody together and like, hey man, you going to this event? Oh, no, I can't make it. Are you flying out to this event? No, I can't. It's a whole nother level. So Enzo, you are up next, buddy. What are we talking here, man? How did you? Because you're actually really interesting, because you said you played casually in Dragon Duels, and now you're starting to transition into a more serious gameplay. So I guess more of being casually in Dragon Duels when you got to go to events. How did events look like for you, and what was your favorite event?
Well, I was less fortunate. Like I never got to go to like all the events, like all the regionals. My mom was never able to take me to like anything. So I always had to like find a way like to like closer regionals. Like I would find my friends to take me type stuff. I never like went to like any big event. Like it was just nationals and like that's it. And then like after COVID, I was finally like old enough to like travel myself and like was able to go to events with my friend like Eddie and my brother and my other friends. My favorite event by far has to be Charlotte. It was the first event back. Finally got to see all my friends and meet my friends for the first time in real life. Like all my friends that I met on Dueling Book, all my friends that I met on Discord, my testing partners, everything. Finally meeting them and seeing them again, and all that was pretty fun and a special time. It was really good overall.
Yeah, I mean, just also, I'm gonna say it again. Like, just come in hot off of COVID. Which, by the way, COVID just felt like a time skip. You guys all saw Endgame, right? Where they came back from the snap. It just felt like that. Just 5 years? Yeah, whatever. Here we are. 2 years? Here's everybody again. But whatever. But you came back, and just to get third after the first event back must have been really huge for you. And it's probably something you'll never forget, honestly. With not a win, that's fine, whatever. But like, that's just huge, you know, just the first event back and just reminiscing. Being able to have that as a huge motivator to get you to keep going to events. And like, you went from third to second place, and I mean, I guess the only place you have to get now is fourth. So, Charlie, I've traveled with you a little bit, so you know, let's talk to the people here. Let's do this. Favorite event that you've traveled to? Let me hear it right now. Talk to me.
I think I'd have to definitely say 2019 Worlds.
I forgot you had that answer. Why did none of you other kids that have been to Worlds have said that? Like, none of you have just been like, yeah, I just been across seas to go do this. First time leaving the country doing this stuff. You all, no. Every answer everybody else gave was wrong, except that was correct. I forgot about that too.
Yeah, it was either 2019 or 2017 Worlds. I obviously Worlds didn't work out how I would like to have to, but I definitely had a lot of fun because I wasn't too fond of Japan when I went in 2017 or 18. I didn't really like
what's your Kasi ID?
Huh?
I said, hey, yo, what's your Kasi ID, bro? You're not too fan of Japan, okay?
Nah, I just didn't like the food. I liked the experience, but and then that was my first time going out of the country in 2017. 2019 was my favorite just because I like the place, I like the food, and then we went to Paris like right after the event. It was like really, really cool for me because I always wanted to go to Paris.
So you pocketed that prize card, you sold it, and you took your mom to Paris. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't spend any of the money from my prize card, but yeah. Also, 2019, I think I had the best experience like with the players base. Like all the people that went to Worlds that year, I was either already friends with them or we've just gotten closer since that time at Worlds.
And then, like when you travel, because I mean, you primarily travel with your mom. Like, what do you guys do? Because I know your mom, she entertains herself. She goes off and does her own thing, whatever, and she's just like, I'll see you Sunday. But like for you, how much freedom does your mom give you when, you know, after the events are over with? Like, how is it for you? How has it been for you?
Kind of piggybacking on what Eddie said. If we drive to events like, for example, Chicago, yeah, she generally wants to just like go home because like she owns her own business, so she usually has to be at work that Monday. So for most events, if I go with her, we usually have to like, she either gives me some time, and we usually have to drive home either that same night or as soon as possible. But the first event I got to go by myself was Hartford. I was supposed to go with you, but you got sick.
We had plans to go to Hartford, and I just got back from EDC Las Vegas. And so there's 400,000 people in one area, and it was the weekend before that. We are tickets booked. We were going to get on this plane, and it is we were leaving Friday, and I wake up Friday at like 4 a.m. I have a 103-degree fever. Our flight gets canceled. So we're like, okay. Charlie's mom books us both a flight for like 10 a.m. to get out there. I wake up, I can't move. I physically could not show up. They wouldn't even let me on the plane. So I don't even know how Charlie did it, but Charlie had to go by himself. And I felt really bad for that because I'm like, you think I want to, yeah, now that I'm banned, I'm like, do you really think I wanted to skip out on a YCS? So that one hurt. That one hurt. I hated not going to that one because you played Sword Soul and you started off 8-0 there, right? Or 7-0?
Yeah, I was 8-0.
Started off.
So
Eddie.
So that one was a little crazy.
Shout out to Attic Mister.
Yeah, round 11. That guy is crazy.
Then that guy came up to you at the Ohio regional, right? Was that him? And he's trying to dap you up, or was that a different guy?
Yeah, it was a different guy,
Ah, it
different
was a different
guy.
guy. Oh, dang.
Oh wait, no, yeah. One of the guys I lost to, Adshot, did try to dap me up at the point.
Oh, dude, I remember.
Yeah, then we played the next round, and then I told him,
Yeah, that's crazy.
That
and he
is
sobbed.
absolutely
I'm
crazy.
so mad. Anyways, yeah, no, but usually when I travel with her, because of work, she has to get home soon. So I don't usually get to stay an extra day like all of my friends get to talk about, and like all the extra time they get to spend with each other. That's why I also got to go to Niagara by myself. It was a crazy story too, but overall, traveling by yourself or like with other friends, I think is better with the time I've got to do it so far.
Wait, hold on. You said traveling by yourself or
I
with
said
friends
or with friends,
is better.
Oh.
Better than what?
100%. Then traveling with parents, 'cause
Okay,
they have to
okay.
like, get home do the work.
I was like, Charlie, that's the only two options. You either go by yourself or with friends. What are you talking about?
Or with my.
Oh, just a warning. If you ever share a bed with Charlie, he'll like push you off.
He is a starfish. He's
Yeah,
a starfish.
Bro.
Yeah, he'll force you to sleep on the chair.
You hear that, ladies? You hear
Not
that, ladies?
true.
Charlie has absolutely no riz and will kick you out of the bed.
Sounds accurate.
Well,
So I have one last question for you guys. This is only going to pertain to a couple of you, I think, but I would like to know how Worlds experience was for the ones who have went to Worlds. Like Charlie kind of started on it, but like being out there, how in the Dragon Duel world, how was Worlds for you? How was the experience? I'll let Ryan start first because he's the best player in the chat.
Okay.
I don't know about that one, but Worlds is it's definitely surreal. I think I didn't really appreciate it. I went in 2017 and then 2018. I didn't really appreciate it as much the first time. I was more like a little bit too stressed, I think, about playing the event. But the second time around, I definitely focused more on like also trying to enjoy the trip and all the like amazing opportunities we got while we're there, the sightseeing and enjoying all the local stuff. Because unlike Charlie, I actually enjoyed Japan, and we went there twice, so that was a ton of fun. I will say though, the one thing that's a little bit off about Worlds and why I didn't say that was my favorite event is because like it's Worlds, it's crazy and all, but at the same time it's not like all of your friends are there. It's a much smaller group of people, so it's fun, but it's not exactly the same. It feels like a different type of event entirely, even though it is surreal.
Okay, John, you said you've been to Worlds, right?
honestly, the reason why it wasn't as special for me is because that year was in Orlando, and I'd been to Orlando like a few times before. It wasn't anything like new. It was honestly the best part about it was to just like meet all these like amazing players because like I had watched all the YouTube videos, watched Zach profiles, and so actually meeting the players that I admired and I learned from was like kind of an amazing experience. And like I think really the defining moment for me was like after I lost, I realized I have to come back here, and so like I want to get to Worlds again. And I feel like it's just been like a driving factor for me and kind of helping me like take on my path towards my goals.
Okay, sweet. And Charlie, I mean, you already touched on it a little bit, but like, I need you to dive in more.
Okay, so I think each time I went to Worlds, it was a different experience. Like the first time, it was in Tokyo, Japan, right, Ryan? And then the second time, I think it was in Chiba, Japan. And then the third time, it was in Germany. It was just different experiences each time. I have fun at each one, each time I went to Worlds. I just think that that feeling is just never goes away. Like you're playing with literally the best players in the world, and you get to say you're one of them. And then like I still have all my jerseys. I think I'm gonna get them I think I'm gonna put them in a case. I just think the experience is it's unmatched. I don't know. I just don't know how to describe it, but it just makes you just feel like you're just on a different playing field. And I think carries on to like other events for like the rest of your playing time. Cause like every time I go to an event, like if I'm like about to top or like I'm X1 or something, I just think about I'm like I've topped way bigger events than this. I played in way bigger events than this. It just makes you feel like for the rest of your time that like the events that you've played already or that you're like currently playing just don't even compare to Worlds. That's just my opinion though. Also, it's a great experience. It just felt like a job a little bit because they fly you out and like you have like schedule. You have to like wake up like 8 a.m. for like certain things uh each time you go to Worlds, you like travel wherever you're at and like do the different things. Like they take you like card shops and stuff where you could buy stuff. It's like it's really fun, but it's just like it gets serious like rapidly. Like it's like fun for like 3 days, and then you submit your deck list, and then it's on.
Wow, good thing I never went to Worlds because I don't like following instructions. So I did lie. There actually is one more question I think is way more important that I asked this group of people than the last group. Is you guys have been in school recently or are in school? Do you tell people that you play Yu-Gi-Oh? Ryan?
Yes.
No.
I mean, I don't really volunteer it. I just, if someone asks, I'm not gonna lie or anything. I'll just tell them, yeah. And it's not really a big deal, right? Everyone has their own hobbies, and it's nothing to be ashamed of.
You hear that, kids? It's nothing to be ashamed of. Personally, I didn't tell anybody I played Yu-Gi-Oh. I remember when my best friend in high school found out I played Yu-Gi-Oh. I was at Locals on a Saturday, and my best friend came over, and I didn't know he was coming over. And my stepdad was like, just told him, he's like, "Oh, he's playing Yu-Gi-Oh." And my buddy like texted me or something. He was like, "Yu-Gi-Oh," and I was like, "How do you know that word? What's going on here? Who told you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." But I never ended up telling anybody else in high school. Just a decade ago, it was just kind of like. It was super lame, honestly. Like, you couldn't do anything back then and have your own hobby that wasn't just something that was like mainstream. If you had a hobby that wasn't mainstream, it was just like, what are you doing, idiot? I don't know. It was weird. But John, you said you tell people?
Yeah, literally all of my friends know I play Yu-Gi-Oh. That's like the thing is, I just show them like, yeah, this is me. Like, look at like my YouTube videos and stuff, right? Like, it's cool to like show something where you have accomplishments in because they're like, even if it's your own thing, like it's cool. Like I don't know. I think the majority of people, like, of course they make jokes about it, but like the majority of people that I've told, like, find it interesting, right? Like it's unique. Like it's I don't know. Like I haven't had any real negative experience for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like just by telling people. I think probably culture shifted since then, since you were in high school especially. But I definitely felt cool.
So that's very interesting because in the past few years, I have started telling people that I've been dating or whatever, and they ask, "Oh, what do you do?" And I've had to make a decision because I'm like, well, if I'm gone on the weekends and I'm involved with somebody, I can't just not tell them where I'm at for a weekend. They're like, "Why are you in a different country?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, business, like whatever." So I have found out by telling a lot of the women that I've seen, they find it extremely interesting. They find it very interesting that I have a hobby that is something that they never would have thought of, and I have something that I'm passionate about. So let that be a lesson to everybody. Make sure you tell women that you're actually interested in, that you have a hobby you're passionate about. Women love that. Eddie, what about you, buddy?
I'll tell, like, if my friends ask, I'll tell them, or like if it's like a close friend, then I'll let them know I play like Yu-Gi-Oh. If they ask, if it comes up. But like I don't like go out there just like volunteering, bragging about how like, oh yeah, I went to like a Yu-Gi-Oh like so and so this weekend. If like, especially like now I live in like a dorm at college. If like someone asks like, oh, where are you going? Like, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going off for the weekend. They won't really question it. And if they ask, I'll say it, but like they don't really care most of the time.
Okay, Enzo, what about you, buddy?
Kind of like the same thing as Eddie. Like I don't really like. I tell my friends like I don't like tell them, but like if they ask like what am I doing, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go play Yu-Gi-Oh, but like I don't go out saying it like
So-
that. I just play Yu-Gi-Oh.
So if
It
you just
comes
like
up, I just tell them.
I guess I think a better question would be like, if your friends are like, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" You just say, I'm busy," and you just leave it at that.
No, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh. Like if they ask, like I'll tell them like I don't care. But like I'm not gonna like go out of the way and be like, oh yeah, I play Yu-Gi-Oh by the way. Like,
Yeah, because it's a little different though. Because it's not like it's not like you're telling everybody's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go play basketball this weekend. I'm gonna go to the beach this weekend." It's I'm gonna go play Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's like, I think it also could come down to like too many other questions. Like it's just Yu-Gi-Oh. It's just Yu-Gi-Oh to me. I don't want to sit here and explain a series of questions to you, right?
yeah.
Charlie, you blurted. You're right. Let's the drip master. Everybody follow Bag Chasing Charlie on Instagram, guys. He drip hard. Why don't you tell people you play Yu-Gi-Oh? You too cool? You're a world champion. You're a world. You know how many world champions there are at things, and you're one of them. And you're like, yeah, that's not gonna let people know.
Yeah, nah. I don't know. It might be a little different for me than other people. I don't know. It's just like I don't tell people, but people found out. Like when I went to Worlds in 2018, I won, and I came back. Everybody knew, and I don't know. I just didn't advertise it to nobody. Like obviously, like not even my like closest friends knew, but
You are so
I don't
lucky.
know.
You're
so it never
so
came
lucky.
up
I
in
wasn't.
conversation.
What's up?
No, like before, like it didn't know. I think so. Like a lot of close people I know now, though, they know, they just don't care. But like they also don't know or think that I still play it. Some people do. Like it comes up in conversations, but I don't know. It's different for me. I don't know. I just don't. I don't like talking about it because then if they ask if I play Yu-Gi-Oh, and then other questions come with it. And then it's just like things that I just don't want to deal with. I don't know. And then they talk about like the video where like I say like the amount of money, and then a lot of things goes into it, and I don't tell people.
You are so lucky. I'm not like actually related to you, and just anybody from Twitter watching this, I'm still his father. Because when you won Worlds, I would have 100% called your school and had them announce it over the intercom.
Yeah, I just probably would.
100%. I want everybody to congratulate Charlie Futch on winning Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds.
Yeah, I definitely would have changed schools.
I would
I
have
love that,
changed
Toby.
schools. But
No,
all right.
it's just like the questions that come after it, I just don't like dealing with.
What
So,
questions come after that, Charlie, that you're so
Okay.
confused about?
Yeah, let's hear
so
it.
like for example, when people found out how much money it was, people assume that the only reason why I have like nice clothes or like the type of shoes I wear is because I play Yu-Gi-Oh and I got that money. People thought I was like broke without. It's just like too many questions, and they ask like, "What is it?" And then they ask if I could like teach them to play, or like they ask to borrow money from me. They're like, "I know you got it. You play Yu-Gi-Oh, blah blah blah," like all this type of stuff. I just don't like dealing with it.
Those people just sound fake.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think those are your friends, to be honest.
Okay, those aren't my friends that say that. I also don't want random people at school coming up to me, just asking me about questions about Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I don't know. That's just me though.
I feel like it's not a realistic outcome for that to happen.
That literally.
The
has
only thing
happened
I think someone would
multiple
ever
times.
say if you asked if you played Yu-Gi-Oh and like you said you did good at the tournament, like, oh, what did you win? And then when you explain to them, oh yeah, like I won a card, they're like, oh, okay. And unless you like outright say like, oh yeah, it was a prize card worth like for your case $30,000, then that might come up as like weird. But like most of the time they're just like underwhelmed and like kind of confused.
Yeah.
Nah. We got a completely two different schools.
Hey, stop. I'm going to explain this to the other people in this chat right now. I can't not give a good reason as to why this is, but this is why it is. Black folks are just different, and Charlie goes to a predominantly black school, and it is not the same. Like, being black and having a hobby that is not mainstream hobby, it labels you as weird. It just does, and It's the craziest conundrum that I've ever witnessed or experienced ever. I can't explain it. I don't know why it is that way, but I promise you it just is. So I understand, Charlie. I do get it. But I still think you should tell everybody you play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm.
But all right, guys, that's all the time we have today. So I am going to cut it out. I thank everybody for watching. And until next time, I'll catch you later.